Jordan Miles arrived 15 minutes early, the way he always did when he needed something to go smoothly. Not because he was anxious by nature, Jordan wasn't, but because experience had taught him that being a black man walking into a polished, high-status space meant the margin for misunderstanding was smaller. One wrong assumption could become a delay could become a scene, and a scene could become a story people told without him in it. The event was being held at the Glassline Convention Center downtown, the kind of building that looked like it was designed to reflect importance back at anyone who approached it. Tall panes of glass, stainless steel doors, a huge banner overhead, a sleek minimalist logo, and the words Summit Night, Partners and Sponsors. Jordan's company logo wasn't on the banner, but it didn't need to be. He wasn't there as a random attendee. He was there because he'd paid for the space to exist. Jordan stepped out of his rideshare, adjusted the cuff of his suit jacket, and checked his phone. In his email was the confirmation VIP sponsor access. In his wallet was the card tied to the payment. Around his wrist, still in the small plastic sleeve, was the event wristband he'd picked up that morning from the pre-check desk in the lobby. Black band with a metallic thread woven through it, clean and expensive looking. The staff at pre-check had smiled, scanned his QR code, and handed it to him without incident. "Have a great night, Mr. Miles." He remembered that because it had felt normal. He walked toward the entrance where a line was forming behind velvet stanchions. The line split into two, General and VIP/sponsor. The VIP line was shorter, of course, people in dresses and tailored suits, laughing softly, holding phones like accessories. Jordan joined that line and waited, hands relaxed at his sides. At the front, event staff checked wristbands and scanned them with handheld devices. Every few seconds, a device beeped and flashed green. Wristbands tightened. Smiles exchanged. People moved forward into the glow of the lobby lights like they belonged there by default. Jordan watched for patterns the way he did in any system. Habits from years of running operations, reading processes, spotting where things broke. The scanner, the wristbands, the staff, it was all routine. Until it wasn't. When Jordan reached the front, the woman with the scanner didn't greet him the way she greeted the couple before him. She hesitated, eyes flicking from his face to his wrist and back again as if something didn't match the picture in her head. Her name tag read Kelsey. White, late 20s, tight ponytail, earbuds hanging around her neck even though she wasn't supposed to be wearing them. She held the scanner like it was an extension of her authority. "VIP line?" she asked, tone flat. Jordan smiled politely. "Yes, sponsor." Kelsey's eyes narrowed slightly. "Sponsors have badges." Jordan lifted his wrist, still calm. "Sponsor wristband. Pre-check gave it to me." Kelsey didn't scan it right away. She leaned closer, squinting at the band as if she could see fraud in the thread. "Where'd you get this?" "At the pre-check desk," Jordan repeated. "This afternoon." Kelsey made a small sound in her throat, half laugh, half disbelief. "Uh-huh." Jordan's smile faded just a degree. "You can scan it." Kelsey finally raised the scanner, but instead of scanning, she paused again. "Do you have ID?" Jordan blinked once. "For a wristband scan?" "It's policy," she said quickly, too quickly, like she'd invented the policy in the space between his answer and her discomfort. Jordan could already feel eyes on him. Not many, just enough. The couple behind him went quiet. A man in a tuxedo 2 places back glanced over, then looked away like he didn't want to be involved. Jordan kept his voice calm. "No one asked me for ID at pre-check. They scanned my code and issued the band." Kelsey shrugged. "Well, I'm asking now." Jordan pulled out his wallet anyway, because arguing about whether he should have to prove himself was the exact kind of loop that wasted time and made you look like the problem. He handed her his ID. Kelsey looked at it, then looked at him again, then looked at it again like she was searching for a reason to keep the door closed. "This doesn't tell me you're VIP," she said, handing it back. Jordan's jaw tightened slightly. "The wristband does." Kelsey lifted her chin. "I'm not letting you in without a badge." Jordan held his wrist up again. "Scan the wristband." Kelsey's expression hardened into irritation. "Sir, I'm trying to do my job." Jordan's eyes stayed steady. "Then do it." Kelsey raised the scanner and finally passed it over the band. The device beeped, but instead of the bright green Jordan had seen for everyone else, the scanner screen flickered, and Kelsey's thumb moved quickly as if she'd hit the wrong mode. She scanned again. Another beep. Her mouth tightened. Jordan watched her hands more than her face now. Something about her movements felt less like confusion and more like control, like she was choosing how the device would interpret him. Kelsey pulled the scanner back and said, "It's not reading." Jordan didn't move. "Can I see the screen?" "No," she snapped, immediate. "For privacy." Jordan let out a slow breath. The phrase "for privacy" in a public line didn't even make sense. Behind him, the line started to compress. People shifted, impatient. Someone cleared their throat loudly. Kelsey glanced over her shoulder as if looking for backup. A tall security guard stepped closer from the side. Brad, according to the patch on his uniform. White, early 40s, broad build, hands clasped in front like he was waiting for trouble to become official. He looked at Jordan first, then at Kelsey. "What's going on?" Brad asked. Kelsey pointed at Jordan's wrist like the band was evidence. "He's trying to get into VIP without a badge. His wristband won't scan." Jordan kept his voice controlled. "I'm not trying. I was issued this wristband at pre-check. I asked her to scan it. She says it won't read and won't show me the screen." Brad's expression didn't change. "Do you have a ticket?" Jordan's patience thinned, but he kept his tone even. "I have sponsor access. The band is the ticket." Brad leaned in, looking at the band. "These can be duplicated." Jordan looked at him. "So can badges." Brad didn't respond to that. He looked back at Kelsey. "If it's not scanning, he can go to will call." Jordan's chest tightened. "I already did will call. I already did pre-check. That's why I'm wearing the wristband." Kelsey made a small dismissive sound. "Then you can do it again." Jordan glanced toward the lobby. Through the glass, he could see people moving freely, champagne flutes catching light, staff guiding guests deeper into the venue. The summit was starting. He was supposed to meet someone inside, an investor who had agreed to a 10-minute conversation because Jordan's sponsorship gave him access to the private lounge. 10 minutes in rooms like that could change a quarter. Kelsey's voice cut in again. "Sir, step aside. You're holding up the line." Jordan didn't step aside, not because he wanted a scene, but because stepping aside meant accepting her version of reality, that he didn't belong here unless she decided he did. "I'm not holding up the line," he said calmly. "You are. Scan it properly and let the system answer." Brad's posture stiffened. "Watch your tone." Jordan's eyes sharpened. "My tone is calm." Kelsey crossed her arms. "This is ridiculous. You people always—" She stopped herself at the last second, but the damage was done. The words hung there, unfinished but loud in everyone's mind. Jordan felt something go very still inside him. Not rage, precision. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone, thumb moving quickly. He opened the event email with his sponsor confirmation and held it up. "Here, sponsor confirmation. QR code. Name matches my ID." Kelsey glanced at it like it was a nuisance. "Emails can be edited." Jordan nodded once. "Then scan the QR code." Kelsey hesitated. Brad stepped closer. "Sir, you need to move out of the VIP line." Jordan looked at Brad. "What's your supervisor's name?" Brad's lips pressed together. "Why?" "Because I'm requesting someone who understands how the system works," Jordan said. "Not someone who assumes the system is wrong only when it's me." Kelsey rolled her eyes. "Oh my God!" Jordan didn't blink. "Call your supervisor." Brad glanced toward the side entrance, then spoke into his radio. "Need a lead at VIP check." A minute later, a woman approached briskly wearing a headset and a black blazer. Dana Whitmore, according to her badge. White, mid-30s, professional, eyes scanning everything at once the way competent people do when they walk into a problem. "What's happening?" Dana asked. Kelsey spoke first, fast. "He doesn't have a badge. Wristband won't scan. He's refusing to step aside." Jordan held up his wrist and his phone in the same motion. "I have sponsor access. PreCheck issued this wristband. I've offered my ID and QR code. She says it won't scan and won't show the scanner screen." Dana looked at Kelsey. "Scan it for me." Kelsey's face tightened. It didn't read. Dana's tone sharpened. "Scan it anyway." Kelsey lifted the device and scanned again. The scanner beeped. Dana extended her hand. "Let me see." Kelsey hesitated for half a second too long, then handed it over. Dana looked at the screen. Her eyebrows lifted, because the screen was glowing bright and unmistakable. Green. Dana turned the device slightly toward Jordan for a brief second, just enough for him to see it too. A clean green confirmation, the kind everyone else had walked through without thinking. The line behind Jordan went completely silent. Dana looked back at Kelsey. "It's valid." Kelsey's mouth opened, then closed. "It must have." Dana didn't let her finish. "It's valid. Sponsor tier." Kelsey swallowed. I didn't see that." Dana's eyes stayed on her for an extra beat. "You scanned it multiple times." Brad shifted uncomfortably. Dana turned to Jordan, voice professional and apologetic. "Mister?" Jordan didn't offer softness. He offered facts. "Jordan Miles." Dana nodded. "Mr. Miles, I'm sorry for the delay. Please come through. I'll escort you to the sponsor lounge." Jordan stepped forward slowly, not because he was savoring the moment, but because he was letting everyone see the truth move in real time. The wristband hadn't changed. The system hadn't changed. Only the story around it had collapsed. As he passed Kelsey, she kept her eyes down. Her posture had shrunk, like green light had drained something out of her that she needed to feel in control. Inside the lobby, Dana walked beside Jordan at a quick, efficient pace. "Again, I apologize," she said. "We'll address this with staff immediately." Jordan glanced at her. "Please do." Dana nodded once. "If you don't mind me asking, did this happen earlier at PreCheck?" "No," Jordan said, "because they scanned it and moved on." Dana's jaw tightened as if she understood exactly what that meant. As they reached the sponsor lounge entrance, Dana paused and looked directly at him. "Your access is confirmed," she said. "If anyone questions you again tonight, ask for me." Jordan didn't smile, but his voice softened just slightly. Not forgiveness, just closure. "Thank you." He stepped into the lounge. The lighting was warmer in there, the noise lower. Conversations carried a different kind of energy, people trading ideas, laughing too loudly, pretending they weren't networking while doing exactly that. Jordan checked his phone. A message had already come through from the investor he was supposed to meet. In the lounge, near the window. Jordan exhaled, the last of the tension leaving his shoulders. The night was back on track. But something else had started too. Something Dana would handle on the other side of the doors, something Kelsey couldn't laugh away, something Brad couldn't policy into silence. Because the wristband scan had lit green. And once the system spoke clearly, the denial at the door could only be one thing. Not a rule, a choice. Jordan didn't mention what happened at the door once he stepped into the sponsor lounge. He didn't need to. People like Kelsey counted on that, on the fact that most people who get humiliated in public prefer to swallow it and move on, because explaining it feels like begging and complaining feels like risking your own reputation. Jordan wasn't there to perform pain for anyone. He was there to do what he came to do. He found the investor near the window, a white man in a charcoal suit named Peter Caldwell, and the conversation went the way important conversations went. Fast, polite, sharpened by time. Jordan talked about user retention, operational costs, the contract pipeline. Peter nodded, asked questions that tested whether Jordan knew the details, then leaned back slightly, like he'd reached his conclusion. "Send me your deck," Peter said, "I'll have my team look at it Monday." Jordan kept his expression calm even though that sentence meant a lot. "I will," he replied. "Thank you." As Peter walked away, Jordan took a moment alone near the bar, letting the adrenaline settle. He'd made it. The delay hadn't cost him the meeting. The door incident would be an ugly memory and nothing more. Then his phone buzzed again. A text from Dana. "Are you available for a quick check-in? 2 minutes. Important." Jordan stared at the message, then replied, "Yes. Where?" Dana answered, "Outside sponsor lounge entrance." Jordan stepped out and found her standing with her headset off now, expression controlled but clearly tense. Beside her was another staff member he hadn't seen earlier, a man in a suit with an event credentials badge clipped to his lapel. His name tag read Marcus Reed, Operations. Dana didn't waste time. "Mr. Miles, I wanted to address what happened at VIP entry," she said. "We pulled the scan logs." Jordan's chest tightened slightly. "Scan logs," Marcus nodded. "Every scan is recorded, band ID, time, device ID, and result state. Green, yellow, red." Jordan kept his voice steady. "Okay." Dana looked him directly in the eye. "Your wristband scanned green on the first pass." Jordan felt the air shift. "At the door?" Marcus nodded once. "At the door, on Kelsey's device." Dana continued, but she manually tapped the screen after the scan. Jordan's jaw clenched. "What does that do?" Marcus answered carefully. "It can pull up the detail view, or it can mark the scan as manual hold pending verification." Jordan stared at them. So she overrode it. Dana's expression tightened. "Yes." Jordan let out a slow breath. It wasn't surprise. He'd felt it in her hands, the way she moved too quickly, the way she refused to show the screen, but hearing it confirmed by the system made it feel heavier. Marcus opened a tablet and angled it slightly. The screen showed a row of entries, timestamps, device IDs, and the band status. Jordan could see his band ID listed, followed by a green result, then an action marker. Marcus didn't explain it like he explained it to Jordan because Jordan was ignorant. He explained it because he wanted Jordan to know they weren't going to pretend it didn't happen. "The system recorded 3 scans," Marcus said. "All green, then a manual hold was placed." Jordan's voice stayed even, but it carried steel. So why did she tell security it wasn't reading? Dana didn't answer with excuses. "We're investigating intent. But we do know it was not a technical failure." Jordan felt a hot anger flare, then settle into something colder. Brad backed her. Dana nodded. "We have that too. The incident report shows he directed you away from VIP without confirming the scan status," Marcus added. "And that's a training failure at minimum." Jordan looked at Dana. "What happens now?" Dana's posture straightened. "Kelsey is removed from entry operations tonight, immediately." Marcus nodded. "And we'll be filing an internal conduct review. This event has sponsor obligations. Denying a sponsor access is serious on its own. Doing it after a green scan is more serious." Jordan held their gaze. "I don't want a performance apology," he said quietly. "I want the behavior addressed." Dana's eyes softened slightly. Not pity, respect. "Understood." Jordan paused, then added, "And I want to know something else. Was I the only one?" Marcus's expression tightened. "We're checking logs for any other manual holds placed after green scans." Dana said, "We already found 2 others in the last hour. Both involved guests of color. Different wristbands. Same device." Jordan felt his throat go tight. For a second, he couldn't speak. Not because he was shocked, but because the confirmation made it undeniable. "It's a pattern," he said finally. Marcus nodded. "Yes." Dana exhaled. "We're handling it. And if you're willing, we'd like to document your experience. Not a public statement. Internal record." Jordan thought about what it cost to be cooperative. He thought about how often systems asked the harmed person to do extra work so the system could pretend to improve. But he also thought about the 2 other guests who'd been held up, who might not have had Dana stepping in, who might have walked away embarrassed and silent. "I'll document it," Jordan said. "Briefly." Marcus nodded. "That's all we need." Dana added, "And for the rest of tonight, your band is flagged as priority. Any scan issue triggers a lead immediately." Jordan didn't smile. It should have been that way from the start. Dana didn't argue. "You're right." Jordan went back into the lounge, but he couldn't fully relax now. The champagne clink sounded sharper. The laughter sounded thinner. He could still feel the moment at the door, the way a green scan had been turned into a red wall by someone's choice. Later, as the evening moved into speeches, Jordan watched Dana across the room speaking quietly with a group of staff near the entrance. Kelsey wasn't there anymore. Brad stood off to the side, posture stiff, listening. When the keynote began, Jordan's phone buzzed with a final message from Marcus. "We confirmed manual holds placed after green scans by Kelsey's device. She has been terminated from the event staff roster effective immediately. Security supervisor will retrain gate staff on scan verification. Thank you for reporting." Jordan stared at the message for a long moment. Terminated from the event staff roster. Not a warning. Not a "let's be mindful." Not a soft, vague memo. Immediate action. He didn't feel joy. He felt something closer to relief, because the system had done what it was supposed to do. It had recorded truth, and someone had been forced to answer to it. Jordan looked around the room again. Sponsors, founders, executives, all moving as if access was a natural right. He thought about the green light on that scanner, how quickly it had ended the story Kelsey tried to tell, how the logs had held the truth even when people at the door tried to override it, and he realized something that made his shoulders finally loosen. He hadn't needed to prove he belonged, he had already belonged. The wristband had said so, the system had said so, and now so did the record.